Man, I ain't gonna lie. I've been holding a lot of shit in lately. Man, I just had like a 3.5 hour cry. What do I owe the pleasure? What do I owe the pleasure? The last time we been together. We wash your car for you. We wash your car. We wash your car with no shame in our hustle. When you got them getting it to that wash, and you know that tip gonna be good like it's goddamn this cold. Y'all better stop buying this slippery soap, man. What's going on there?
The streets are buzzing, and no one saw this coming. 50 Cent has unleashed some tapes that have Rick Ross on the brink of losing it. This isn't your typical hip-hop rivalry anymore. We've got the inside scoop on how these leaked tapes involving Ross made their way online. Once you hear the contents, you'll see why Ross is ready to take drastic measures after 50's masterful move. It's pure chaos.
Just like New York, just like Mount Vernon, New York City, Mount Vernon, and Miami, all that is the same, bruh. Nobody wants to be near him. Nobody wants to touch what he touched, be where he at. You understand? It's crazy, bruh, how his fall from grace, which was never from grace. It's just like the devil just kicked him out of hell, because he was never in nothing graceful and did anything graceful. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you say about, okay, he did the music, he had the bad boy legacy and everything like that, man. But, you know, a few albums, a few people, you know, made to be famous, but they not here to tell their story. Black Rob, Biggie, Craig Mack. They not here to tell their story, bro. And now you got everybody telling his story.
Yeah, and I know 50, he did a recent interview with US Weekly saying that the reason why rappers are quiet about, you know, Diddy's situation is because they've been to his parties and they don't know what got caught on tape.
Bruh, those people who was caught at Diddy party did not know that he had 250 tape recorders in that house. That's a big house.
Girl, let me tell you, 50 Cent has been playing the long game in hip-hop. Back in 2009, when Rick Ross came at him with that Officer Ricky stuff, everyone thought it was just petty drama. But 50 had bigger plans. While Ross thought he was winning, 50 was quietly gathering dirt and building connections. Every time Ross flaunted his Wingstop money or car collection, 50 was just watching, not responding anymore. He was plotting his takedown. When Ross was promoting his new Checkers franchise, he felt untouchable. That's when 50 knew it was time to act. If you followed 50's Instagram, you'd have seen him posting cryptic messages about people pretending to be wealthy. Then, out of nowhere, on a regular Tuesday, 50 dropped that first tape, no warning, just pure destruction. He didn't even caption it. The footage spoke for itself, and the industry exploded.
But he had 250 tape recorders in that house that they took, that the feds found. So now with them finding all that and you being at a Diddy party, you know you may have done something that was caught on one of those tapes. You just better pray to God that they don't recognize you. Those people who know that they did something, no, they're not going to speak out. They're not going to say nothing. What part of the game is that? They are not going to come forward and tell on themselves. Nah, not at all. Ice Cube, he said it himself, bro. He said that Diddy's been targeted because of what he said about those folks and those people. Now, the people who was on those tapes may feel like Diddy might be targeting them. Because if he's asked about who is this, who is that, and he's under oath with the federal government, he got to tell them. He's not going to plead the fifth.
Yeah, I know that got to be a terrible feeling, man. You know you did something wrong at Diddy party, and you hoping and praying that it's not caught on tape.
But they don't think they did nothing wrong. That's their lifestyle. That's their lifestyle, bruh. I ask guys all the time, if two men lay down, how many homos get up? What you mean? I mean what I mean.
Reactions came flooding in immediately. Industry executives held emergency meetings, PR teams scrambled to manage the fallout, and anyone who had ever worked with Ross or Diddy went silent. This wasn't just another diss track, it was a calculated move. 50 had been waiting for years to strike Ross when he was at his peak. Ross, meanwhile, was in a business meeting when his phone started blowing up. His team was trying to reach him, sending the video, and he thought it was just another 50 joke. But when he finally saw what 50 leaked, everything changed. If you thought that first take was shocking, the streets are saying 50 has even more in store. He's been holding onto this footage for years, waiting for the right moment to unleash it. The way he orchestrated this is like a revenge movie with Ross as the unsuspecting star. The big question now is, what else does 50 have? If he waited 14 years to drop this, who knows what else he's been keeping secret?
I'm 100% factual, but it's somebody in this story of things that seems more reliable than others, Race, is what I'll say it, just to protect my sources. But this source informed me of who these A-list celebrities are on these tapes that are being allegedly auctioned off online and through the networks. And it's put me in a little bit of a bind because I like to be fully transparent with the audience. I want to say things, but I also realize from what I'm told, because again, I haven't seen them directly yet. I haven't, and I don't know if I want to. Race, I want your advice on that too. But the problem I have is just like, typically I want to report these things, but I got to be careful legally, ethically, morally as to what we report on here. Because as Ariel, the lawyer here, did admit, and I can attest based on the information I got from a separate, reliable source, people in these videos don't know they're being videotaped. That's a big issue, Race, right? Let's start out right there. If there are people on these tapes that don't know that they were being filmed, is that okay to talk about and to share?
I have a big problem with that, as do you, Andy. And you tend to be an ethical guy, and you're taking the high ground here. Notwithstanding the fact that you may have some significant information and reliable information, but the reality is that, look, I mean, if people were recorded non-consensually and you're the one to identify them, I think that's a problem, right? And I think anytime anyone has content, right, this is not an email, this is not a text message, this is video. And there's specific statutes without using specific language I don't want to get into, but everybody knows what we're talking about here.
It's Diddy with this person. I'll say that. It's Diddy with this person. Actually, yes.
Yeah, and see, the problem is, again, like non-consensually recorded, you've got a victim here who may not want to be publicly identified. That's the problem. That's the problem. And they have a right to proceed if they want to, whether it's criminally or civilly, without being identified, because we know what's going to happen. As soon as they identify themselves, there's going to be a bunch of people that come out of the woodwork who are going to unequivocally harass them and claim that didn't happen, and they're making stuff up. And there's the victims that we want to protect here, and that's significant.
Well, it's interesting because here's why I wanted to have this conversation, because I know a lot of you are like, Andy, just say it. No, I'm not going to say them, but I wanted to have this conversation as to why we're not saying it and why I think others haven't yet said it, Raised, because again, legally, ethically, morally, it's just not right. Now, there's an argument I've had with people who are like, well, they knew what they were doing with Diddy. Like these were consensual acts. Like they knew, and he filmed other times. So I don't know what the big deal is. It's going to come out. It's going to come out is what I keep hearing from other reliable sources. It may, guys, it may come out, but it's not going to come out via me. That's just to warn you all, because I don't think it's wise for us to put out something like you just confirmed it without the consent of the other person in the video. Because again, from what I'm gathering based on some of these tapes, and again, we're still learning more, and I haven't.
Remember all those times Ross claimed he never did business with certain people? That's what makes these tapes explosive. The receipts don't lie. 50 has caught Ross red-handed, doing exactly what he denied. The footage shows him in compromising situations with Diddy, not just innocent meetings. There's even audio of Ross discussing secret deals he's been denying for years. In one clip, he casually brags about arranging things with up-and-coming artists, revealing this isn't a one-time deal. Industry veterans say this could get someone blackballed from the music business. What has everyone on edge are the connections to old rumors about Ross's early days. These videos paint a different picture, showing him getting comfortable with people he claimed he never worked with and discussing business moves he's denied.
Baby oil that they took 1,000 bottles away from his house. If the government took 1,000 bottles of baby oil and somebody had things what appeared to be baby oil, and then you have to listen to the prosecutor. He said that they seized 1,000 bottles what allegedly to be baby oil. Allegedly to be baby oil. So that's telling people that it wasn't baby oil. And people think that that was baby oil, they out their mind. I don't believe it was baby oil. Yo, bro, when they went up in there, they knew what they was going to find. They knew what was ever in that baby oil or that those bottles that appeared to be baby oil, they knew about that at first. You got to realize 9 times out of 10, that individual that got caught at the airport, that was supposed to be their carrier, told them what they was doing and what they had. I wouldn't put him past that he told them everything. So when they went up in there, they knew they had to take whatever was out there, and that thing that appeared to be baby oil, they took that. They got to test every last one of them. Let's see how much, let's see how many of those come back to be baby oil. Bro, listen to me. Costco don't sell that much baby oil. Where you know sell that much baby oil?
Yeah, I don't know any store that sell that much baby oil. I know Costco, they came out and said that they don't even sell baby oil.
My sentiments exactly.
But you personally, right, what do you believe was in the baby oil?
If you ever seen a massage parlor being raided and they walking out the people, do they take the massage oil with them when they go? No, they just walk out the people who are.
The industry reactions have been wild. Executives, remaining anonymous, said watching these tapes felt like seeing a career flash before their eyes. A source close to Ross's label revealed they had to hold emergency meetings because no one knew how many more bombs 50 was set to drop. This isn't your usual rap beef. These tapes have Ross and Diddy looking very suspicious, especially with other allegations swirling around. The timing couldn't be worse, with Ross trying to expand his business while Diddy deals with his own drama. The real concern for Ross is how these tapes could threaten everything he's built, his Wingstop franchises, the new Checkers deal, and various brand partnerships. Once corporate America sees this mess, they get nervous about their names being linked to his. The tension comes from knowing 50 has even more footage. Every time Ross tries to deny something, 50 hits back with another clip that makes him look worse. When Ross found out what was in those tapes, things escalated quickly. Hearing rumors is one thing, but knowing there's video evidence of what you've tried to hide is another. And Ross's response, that's when everything went from bad to worse.
And getting arrested and the people being arrested in those brothel houses. Do they take out the stuff in the brothel houses? No, they don't. They take the individuals who are being arrested out the brothel houses. For them to take 1,000 bottles of baby oil, it's like that they did not leave one. They left people there, but they ain't leave not one bottle. Nobody needed no baby oil. So my whole thing about it is that there was something in that other than baby oil. That's why they took all the bottles. And 9 times out of 10, if I would give it a wild guess, it was, and like some of the people told me, it was probably that GHB.
What's that?
I think it's gamma hydrox. I looked it up, bro. Let me see. See if I can find it. I know this is just showing everything like that, but oh no. Let me. Yo, somebody tap dance or sing or do something, you know what I'm saying, while I'm doing this. Oh, here it go right here. It's gamma hydroxy butyric. What is it effect on the body? It's a euphoria, drowsiness, decreased anxiety, and memory impairment. It works on the nervous system and gives you this feeling of euphoria. So they take that and rubbed it on her, and you forget who you are, what you're doing. It can also give you memory loss, drowsiness. And that's under the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration.gov.
When notifications started blowing up everyone's phones at 3 a.m., no one was ready for what they saw. Ross was furious and ready to scorch the earth. PR experts were texting each other, urging someone to intervene before he ruined everything. His first response on Instagram was a 15-minute rant filled with threats and accusations that sent his team into a panic. He wasn't denying the tapes anymore. He was outright threatening 50's life. Pacing in the video and looking sleep-deprived, he had people wondering if he'd finally lost it. Each hour brought more chaos. First, he sent voice messages to anyone who shared the video, threatening lawsuits and making wild accusations, even revealing old dirt. His team tried damage control, but Ross went live, calling out names and exposing industry secrets. It got messy when he dropped addresses, not just 50's, but also places where his family would be. That's when people started distancing themselves. His PR team sent out statements to clean up the mess, but Ross quickly negated their efforts. Even his closest business partners were calling, begging him to log off before he burned every bridge he had.
Activities together is what this is. And again, that's a potentially outing of somebody as well. You know what I mean? There's so many things here that happen in releasing of this private consensual moment that while salaciously everybody wants to know, and people are messaging me all the time, Andy, who's waiting? And it's like, I'm not going to say, because there seem to be way too many things that these people in the tapes, whether consensual, whether they, whatever, didn't agree to put out there. And I would think that's a legal issue too for anybody who puts these out first, no?
Yeah, you nailed it. You can't without the consent of the victim. That's the problem. Somebody thinks that somebody has no idea, right? You said, well, didn't they know they're being recorded? No. I mean, in these situations, the assumption is they did not know. And that's what we believe right now is the victims did not know that they were being recorded. If the victim comes out and says, okay, yes, I knew I was recorded, and a statement is provided, that's a different story. But of course, you don't know that. So you, Andy, probably can't be the one to break that ice and be like, well, this is what I heard and this is what I know, and so I'm going to say it. And there's all kinds of hairy legal issues on that, right? With privacy and intrusion on seclusion is what we call it. It's a privacy violation. There could be defamation implications. There could be criminal implications. So you're doing the right thing by treading carefully. And I think more people should do this rather than get into speculation. Now, if you see the videos, even still, right? If somebody takes...
Not to interrupt, but that's the question. Like, am I allowed to see these videos? Like, if I were to ask this source, show me the videos, do I put myself in worse legal jeopardy?
That's another distinct legal issue, right? It's like you're watching something that someone didn't know they were being recorded of doing, right? And so... it's dicey. It's dicey. Now, it would be different if you were an attorney and somebody's coming to you for purposes of defense or prosecution of a claim, a civil claim, or the filing, of some action to recover damages. That's a little different. But for purposes of, hey, look what I got, juicy gossip, and there are reporting outlets that I won't mention that will do stuff like this. I don't know that it's the smartest thing to do. I don't know that it's the careful thing to do. That's for sure. Or it's the ethical or moral thing to do.
Yeah, it is exactly. I'm not a lawyer, but maybe this source will show you, and then you can verify what we know. But here's the other problem. Even if we verify what we know, like as I watched what Ariel, the lawyer, got these tapes, and even again, I don't want to get into the details, any remote details that could help explain or allude to even more of theories that are out there, or debunk or confirm. But I will say, hearing what I heard, which again isn't confirmation, but hearing what I heard, it makes me dislike what Ariel's doing even more, because I think there are going to be people out there, if this information does get out in some way, that are going to deny that these people are victims, that they're going to try to say, oh no, they're just consensually thing and they were hiding this affair and yada, yada, yada. And I don't see it that way personally. I mean, and granted, I haven't seen or know, like this isn't somebody involved from what I've gathered in these tapes of them, doing it to others in a way, criminally, like we've heard in some of these suits. This is just, it almost feels like, again, if it's real, like blackmail material that Diddy keeps to sort of hold over these people's heads. And to me, that's awful to the people in it, whether they agreed or knew or whatever. It still just feels like that's no one's freaking business, and maybe they were doing it for reasons we don't know. Just because we saw it in the tape doesn't mean they weren't feeling pressured in other ways, right? So it's a heavy and complicated thing, but it's not a hard decision to say I can't run with trying to even allude to who these people are.
Desperate moves came quickly. Ross's team tried to take down the tapes with copyright claims, but 50 had already spread them everywhere. Ross began offering millions to anyone who could help him identify the person who filmed him. By morning, Ross had violated several Instagram policies and faced account restrictions multiple times. Instead of backing down, he created new burner accounts, becoming increasingly reckless. His lawyers were calling nonstop, and business partners threatened to pull out, but Ross wouldn't stop. Things escalated when he started dragging other artists into the mess, exposing who hadn't paid for verses and who was lying about streaming numbers. It was like watching someone set fire to their own house. The industry split into factions. Those eager to see Ross exposed sided with 50, while others tried to defend him. But Ross's actions made it hard for anyone to stand by him. When threats and secrets come into play, people have to choose sides, and those choices would shock everyone.
If you ever get Ariel on your show, I'd love to talk with her and have this conversation if she's willing to do it publicly, because I still don't understand what her role is in all this. And I've heard at times broker, I've heard at times advocate for victim, and I don't want to judge what she's doing or not doing. I'd love to just have a conversation about it, because I personally don't get it, right? This is a very sensitive thing. Again, if this gets turned over to the feds and the feds bring claims and this is outed, that's a totally different story. But the feds do what they're going to do. Like what we talked about months ago on your show, right? When this first went down, we knew when hard drives were seized and things happened that, look, they're going to build a case. They're going to build a case that they think they can prosecute. It's not for us to speculate what's there or what's not. But to say, you have tangible evidence of something on camera that you've seen and that it's being sold in order to protect someone,
to avoid being publicly named, which is what even the lawyers are now admitting. It all feels really dirty and shady, man.
The only person that makes sense that could buy this is the victim, right? If the victim says, I don't want this to come out. Yes, it was consensual, but I don't want it to come out. I didn't know I was being recorded. Give it to that person.
Right, I guess, but you're right, because then they can actually own it. Maybe there is a version of this, so that's what Ariel's trying to allude to. You'll own it, and no other network's going to be able to buy it or show it if you own it and haven't given permission. I guess, is that maybe part of what they're trying to do here, in that the celebrity who buys it can actually then control it just from a clearance standpoint?
Yeah, it still raises some legal concerns, right? Because let me say it this way. If this was a transaction, if this is a business transaction wherein the victim is then acquiring the exclusive rights to this tape or tapes, and that the person who recorded it is avowing that they will not use it, I don't know where that leaves P. Diddy and the feds, right? But they have an independent right to bring this stuff to light if it gets prosecuted. But my point is, if you're transferring legal rights of this consensual or non-consensually recorded tape to the victim, I think that's a better position to be in. But then the question is this person even in a position to be able to buy the tape, right? Are they a high-level celebrity? Like, who are they? We can assume that they're celebrities with millions and millions of dollars to expend on something like this. Just
You know how they say true friends show up in trouble? Well, the white artist for choosing sides left everyone shocked. Some of Ross's closest friends suddenly pretended they didn't know him, while unexpected allies jumped to his defense. The divide was clear when Meek Mill, a former cine of Ross's label, started liking 50's posts about the situation. It was clear this was about survival, not just team loyalty. Artists began unfollowing Ross, removing collaborations from their playlists, and even canceling studio sessions. DJ Khaled, known for his loyalty, went silent when reporters asked about Ross. French Montana, who many expected to support Ross, shared messages about karma and living your truth, indicating a shift. The new generation got involved too. Future posted a story bumping 50's Men, signaling his stance. Even Drake, who usually stays out of drama, shared a cryptic post about how real friends don't switch up when things get tough, stirring up chatter for days.
I was going to Vegas, and I gave him my card. My business card was savoir faire, security management, and everywhere. You know what I mean? So 50 did a song about that. You know what I'm saying? And he put that in the song. And some years ago, about a year or so ago, not even a year or so ago, he said that when he dropped my name, he said, yo, I got the savoir faire. I got that from Big Gene. He been trying to tell y'all about this Puff shit years ago. But 50 was the type of dude that if you knew he was with you, he was with you. Even back then, he had your back whether you was security or whatever you did. If he was with you, he was with you. And that's what you gotta love about him. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta question his loyalty, you know what I'm saying, on some fight shit or if you in a situation. Cause he going out.
Well, I guess you were hanging around him or knew him, right before he got shot.
Well, what happened was is that I had got some information. 50 came to my house. I tried to fit him on a vest, but I'm like, at the time I was like a 3X. And 50 was like a large, you know what I'm saying? So he couldn't really fit the vest, but I gave him a cover to try to tell him, because he had some pads, some vest pads. So I just told him what the situation was that I knew. And told him he had to watch himself because those cats was gonna come at him. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yeah. And he was supposed to be going to Cancun. And I told him, if you come to Cancun, I got you, because I used to be down there doing security at Daddy-O's. You understand? And I had people down there that I had knew that was from Puerto Rico, and they was working down there, so they should make sure when I hit the island, anything and everything I needed, I could get it right there on the island. You understand? They work directly with the syndicate. So 50 was supposed to come down there to do a show, and he didn't make it because they had shot him up. I don't know if he was coming in the first place, but he was supposed to, because he was paid half the money to come down there to perform How to Rob an Industry Cat.
And when was the next time you seen him after that?
The next time I seen 50 after that was at Jack the Rapper. He had blew up. Man. He was like, he was this dude and everything like that. And I was sitting we was in Puerto Rico, and I was sitting by myself, just chilling, and he had his whole entourage with him. He came directly over to me. He like, yo, Gene. I was like, yo, what up, Fit? I said, what up, 50? He said, what's up, man? He said, yo, put his hand out to me, and grabbed my hand. He said, yo, they can't stop what God got planned. Went on about his business. And then he blew up crazy.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.